Good to see you, Eric Davis.
Good to be here.
Fat Mouth Wednesday. I'm taking off for Kansas City after this game. Now, when we looked at the Thursday night football schedule, all right, AFC West tilt prior to the season. Figured, okay, the Broncos are coming off of their championship season. We'll see what happens there. You know, the Chiefs, we all know they're good, but they usually hit their head on the ceiling at some point when it comes to having to put more points on the board than somebody else.
At some point.
And the Raiders, we had no idea.
Yes.
This is essentially for the AFC West. You could absolutely because if the Raiders win this, they're two clear of the Chiefs with 3 to play. Chiefs win this, they have the same record as the Raiders, and obviously they can fall one game behind. But all they would need is to have the same record as the Raiders the rest of the way, because they'd have the season series sweep and tiebreak in their back pocket. And I don't know about you, but I have become a believer in the Kansas City Chiefs as a Super Bowl favorite. That I am seeing how they would be able to, maybe. I'm gonna couch it with the maybes and the ifs and the buts.
Got it.
Go into New England and win in January, or do well enough potentially over the next few weeks with the Patriots having the Ravens on Monday Night Football and the Broncos the week after, perhaps even getting the top seed in the AFC. What say you to something like that?
Well, as much as I'd like to call you crazy in front of everyone, I can't.
You can or cannot?
I cannot. I can see what you're saying. It makes sense. The way they're playing, the way that they are playing, and they're getting healthier. Kansas City is getting healthier right now.
Jeremy Maclin should be back tomorrow.
Macklin's back, so now you got Ford, and you got Houston, and you got Tomlin, you got the pass rush, and you have guys on the back end of that defense. If we stay on that side of the ball, and Marcus Peters and Eric Berry that are just making plays. And you know that those guys are playmakers.
Derek Johnson's been at it for a decade now.
Derek Johnson. So I mean, you can look at every level of that defense. You have playmakers, not just good players, but you have guys. I mean, that make game-changing plays. They have that offensively. You mentioned Macklin's coming back. That's the number one receiver there. Alex, it's time to stop saying. I'll stop saying it. Alex is not a systems quarterback. Alex Smith is a really good quarterback. He has turned into a really good quarterback now, and he knows how to get his team in position to win games, to make plays, to not put his defense in a bad situation. If they need him to throw it to make a play, he can. He understands the offense extremely well and what he has, and he's doing what you want your starting quarterback to do.
And there's not many chunk play tight ends in the National Football League.
But they have one.
They have one.
They have that
in a big way.
And they have the matchup issue, just like New England had the matchup issue with Gronk at the tight end position. Yes, they're different type players, Kelsey and Gronk, but you still have that same issue. Do you put a DB on him and worry about the length and the size? Do you put a linebacker on him and worry about the speed? It's an issue, and you know it's coming, but he can still make plays. And that's the thing about him. He's one of those type players, even when you're there, he'll just be better than you on that play.
And they've got receivers that can run 4.4, it seems like. A bunch of them. Wilson, Hill. These kids are fast. And I mentioned it the last 2 days. I'll say it again. I'll say it again tomorrow when we're in Kansas City. And I'll say it on Thursday Night Football. I don't know what's gotten into Andy Reid. But the guy who normally is like, let's punt and play defense. That guy isn't calling the plays very much anymore. He fake punted in Atlanta.
Yeah, he did.
For a touchdown.
Yeah.
So the buttons he's pushing are working, I understand. He fake punts in Atlanta, and then with a 4-minute offense that's got to go out on that field to win the game after they got the pick two to get a surprising lead change from a returned 2-point conversion, okay? First ever, by the way, in the history of the National Football League.
First ever.
Instead of, with third down after the 2-minute warning, his opponent has one timeout left. This is when Andy Reid is the king of let's run it, make him spend his last timeout, play defense, and try and get out of here.
Yes.
He threw the ball. First down, end of game.
Yes.
Who is this guy?
This is a guy that trusts his quarterback. That's what I'm saying. This is a guy that understands that his offense and his field general out there understands the game and the situations and knows how to execute in those situations. And I think there is a trust factor. That now that he sees what he's capable of doing on that side of the ball, he's going to allow them to do it when necessary. He's still not going to completely deviate from the norm, but as you said, that's very unlike Andy Reid, and he believes in what those guys can do. And it makes it tough. Now, all of that being said, we've been talking about them. They're playing the Raiders, who are a pretty good ball club.
Well, they are also, I'm with Eric Davis, NFL Network, my compadre from the NFL Media Group here on the Rich Eisen Show. Wednesday fat mouthing segment is always with him. The Raiders, since week one, have had this team of destiny sort of feel to it. When they go for 2 points in New Orleans instead of kicking the extra point. And Jack Del Rio has been doing that all year long, and it's all been working. Yeah. That they came back from a ton of points down this past week against the Bills. Now, you could sit there and say, well, they're not complete enough to beat a team that they should beat at home in convincing fashion, that they've got to keep pulling it out of a specific orifice every time.
Yeah.
But these wins have to mount up in a locker room and make you feel like you're confident you can win any time.
Well, you never apologize for winning. In any fashion, it doesn't matter if it's a pick 2 that wins the game or if you blow a team out by 40. You don't apologize for winning. You don't apologize. And people, well, they keep finding themselves behind and having to come back the way Detroit's doing it. It doesn't matter if you're winning the games. So that's the aspect of it that you do feel confident about. You start building up wins, and you look at your record at this point, you pretty much are. Your record is going to say what type team you are. You can forget about all the things that should have happened. What has happened, they've won games. Now, what is on film is that the defense can give up points. It's not a stop you, shut you down when you have to. So if you have a game, and I know you can always say that, but if you have a game where the offense is not clicking, how is that going to be? You know, when you have to win that game, when you go on the road and you need your defense to show up and stop one of these teams.
Like this week. Like tomorrow night.
Yes, and that's when I sat down here before we got on air, I was saying I cannot wait to see this one because I want to see if Ken Norton and Jack Del Rio have that defense ready to go into the playoffs, and if they understand the importance of going on the road and showing up. The offense is going to be there. Reggie has done a great job. I mean, Chubby Blake has done a great job of putting together that team. I was talking to some people this morning. It's amazing that he's been right. He was right on his quarterback. He was right on his wide receiver. He's been right on his pass rusher. He's been right on the free agent veteran acquisitions that he's brought in to bring along the young guys, like getting Crabtree. And you look at what he did with his offensive line. He's got guys that have a certain attitude about them, which has permeated the locker room. I mean, they have a cocky group of guys that just flat out believe that they are better, and that's an important factor.
Sure is.
They really do. It's not like we're young. It's not like we're learning. It's not like we're on the ascend. They think that they are better. He has put that group together that has brought that along so quickly. So this is one of those games. The other ones you talk about how the wins can take you to a certain level. You go in, you win this one, look out for the Raiders.
Arrowhead, loudest place you played in?
No, it's not the loudest place. It's not the loudest place.
Which was
I played back in the Silverdome era, man. I know big domes. I mean, it used to get so loud.
In the Silverdome?
The Silverdome and the
Superdome?
Superdome. Those two places, I mean, they would have over 80,000 people in there, you know, yelling at us, you know, as the road team, and it would be loud. And Minnesota Stadium. To this day, I still hate that horn. I hate that horn. It would be so loud in there, and they would have that horn going off. And I would be on the sideline because, of course, they're doing it at the offense, but you'd be on the sideline, and that horn, it would make me want to just drop a couple of. I hate, dude. See, I thought we were family. I do, but that's what family does, huh? They know how to irritate you, so they do. But I'm at any moment, at any time, anywhere I am, that horn, it just annoys me. It was so loud in that place. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to play.
The loudest stadium I've been in, though, is still Seattle's. I wasn't playing there, but just being there as an announcer and just doing what we do.
I know.
That's the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
And everybody it's funny how everybody who probably goes to the stadiums that you all just mentioned get very prideful about being the loudest as well. Yeah. Before we take a break and talk about the other big games, who wins Thursday? Who do you think takes it down tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Yeah,
because of what they're doing, the importance. They all understand it, but they get it in their backyard.
That would be huge. I mean, they'd stay undefeated in the division. They would be 4-0 in division with 3 to play, and the team they'd be in first place.
Yeah.
With the back pocket of the season tiebreak.
But you know what? I have to say, I kind of hope I'm wrong, because I think it'll make it very interesting how it'll all play out, and how, like I said, the way the Raiders could grow up and how that could make the rest of this season play out.
Yeah, the Chiefs have 2 more in a row at home after this. Home for the Titans, home for the Broncos, then finish up at the Chargers. Yeah. Big one. Let's take a break, because we got big ones, including the one that we just talked about with Doug Baldwin last hour. Seahawks, Packers, Ravens, Patriots, Cowboys, Giants, your Steelers against the Bills, Broncos, Titans, just to say the least. We've got Eric Davis here. Seahawks and Packers, we talked about it with Doug Baldwin in hour number 1. This has the earmarks of them going on the road and spanking the Packers in the same way that they did to Tom Brady and the Patriots, or beating them in a way. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say they spanked the Patriots, but they definitely handed it to them. Or is the offense that showed up in Tampa going to show up in a cold spot on the road? What do you think here?
The offense that showed up in Tampa could rear its ugly head, and that was very ugly. But the issue is still that defense. The defense is going to show up. So even if the offense isn't clicking on all cylinders, they'll still be in the game, just like they were still in that game there.
How do they make up for the loss of Earl Thomas then?
It's the same way they make up for the loss of Cam Chancellor when he's out, whenever they lose the opposite corner of Richard Sherman, and whenever they've lost a backer, or, I mean, you make up for the loss of Bennett. The next guy comes in, and they expect them to do their job. And they've done a very good job of building their roster with guys that can play. They don't. Of course, you are going to lose something, because you're talking about one of the best, if not the best, at his position. But the next guy on that roster, they don't keep guys on that roster that can't play. So that's what good teams have the luxury of doing once you find your guys. So now they continue to build off of that, and the expectation, I was talking about with the Raiders, when you bring in a group of guys and they feel a certain way, the rooms, and when you're in that meeting room, you are expected to play at a certain level. And you start to believe that that's the level you're going to play at, and the guys get out and they perform.
So you expect the Seahawks to prevail?
Yes, I do.
Now, Monday Night Football, Eric Davis, Ravens and Patriots. Why do the Ravens seem to have the Patriots number? Why it just always seems to be, or not, or they always give them fits, if not sometimes go ahead and beat them.
Because of what they're capable of doing in the middle. Rushing Brady, first of all, you got to hit him in the beak. You just have to make him uncomfortable in the pocket. They know that. John Harbaugh knows that, so it's going to be designed to do that, to make certain that they always put the pressure on him and make him have to make plays. Then on the back end, they've always done a very good job of just tackling. Just tackle well, play physical, take advantage of the opportunities that you get. You're not going to get a lot playing against a Belichick's team. So when you're in position to make a play, you have to make a play. And that's sort of the way that John Harbaugh has always coached his teams. That's the way they've always played. A lot like Belichick's team. Try not to beat yourself. Play a physical brand of football across the board in all 3 phases. And then the 4th phase, the coaching, they tend to put their guys in position to make those plays and have them understanding the importance of those plays. And I think that's why it's such an even match every time they go head-to-head.
So who takes this one, do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is, isn't it?
That's a tough one.
I mean, Flacco just played his best game of the year.
Yeah.
Against a Miami team that was red hot. 6 wins coming in, and they put it on them in M&T Bank. You want to pull the trigger on the Ravens right now, but you don't have it.
I really do. I want to pull it. But you don't have
it.
I want to pull it.
That would take a considerable.
I'm gonna.
Not on Monday night in New England.
I want to pull the trigger. I want to pull the trigger.
Hold on a minute. Are you about to pull the trigger?
You know what? It's December.
A Lee Evans catch, yes.
Yeah, they were a Lee Evans catch away from.
But then another year they actually did. But
it's December. It's December in
Billy Cundiff miss a 27-yard field goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's just
okay. So you can take New England.
This one, I'm doing this one with my head. Yeah.
Okay.
My heart says Ravens, but my head says.
So that would. So then you'd say the Steelers have first place going into the final 3 weeks of the season. Do they win in Buffalo?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
Okay. How good has LaShawn McCoy been this year, though? I mean, let's talk about that.
Oh, I mean, when he's feeling good, we know Shady's special. Shady is the hardest guy to tackle one-on-one in space in the league. And that's even knowing that Le'Veon's out there. But, I mean, just one-on-one out in space, he's the hardest running back to bring down. And when he's feeling good, yeah, they're giving him the ball, and he looks really good.
But you still think the Steelers prevail in this one?
I think the Steelers prevail in this one. Yes, I do.
And now Broncos and Titans. Titans coming on, have 2 weeks to prepare for this thing. They'll be nice and healthy. I'm assuming that they're going to have Simeon back under center or in shotgun for this one. And Mariota going into the bye week was the offensive player of the month of November. Titans have a shot here?
They have a shot, yeah. But no, they're not going to win. I got Denver. But, of course, they have a shot. They're playing the game. It's the NFL.
I know
Everyone
that,
has a shot.
but you know what I mean by that.
Except for Cleveland and the 49ers right now.
Do the Browns win a game? They've got Cincinnati. They've got San Diego at home. They've got to play Pittsburgh.
You know what? I said a while back I'm going to stick to it now. I couldn't see it. I can't see it on the schedule. I just after about 5 weeks was like I don't see a win. Just don't see it.
And now, why does nobody believe in the Lions? Why?
Because of the come from behind wins and because of a lot of history.
Come on, you're a player in this league, a former player in this league. You know that means nothing year to year.
But this is from an analyst standpoint. You just asked me, why do people not believe? It's because you've seen them play just well enough to lose. You've seen them get just close enough to fall apart at the end, and everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop. But they're winning games.
They just held Breeze touchdownless in the Superdome.
Yes. Who does that?
Nobody.
Absolutely. No one. I didn't think they were going to win that game because I didn't think they'd be able to slow down an offense like that. They went in and they did what they did. You have to start believing in those guys. So I'm not someone who's saying I don't believe in them.
They have the Bears this week. You assume they're 9-4 going into their back-to-back road games against the Giants and the Cowboys.
How ugly would it be for them to lose that one?
To lose the Bears?
If they lost the Bears. Because, I mean, it's a division game and anything could happen. Well, and see, that's the type thing that pops up with this team. You wonder if they're going to stub their toe in a game like that because they shouldn't. That's the issue with this team because you've seen them do it in the past few. I mean, recent history says that this is the game that they lose.
And then you got the Texans and the Colts for the battle of the AFC South right now. Is that a false positive because it was just against the Jets on Monday night, or you think the Colts might have, with Trent Cole back, they might have actually found something here?
I think the Colts will win the division. I do. I believe that they can get on enough of a run to where they can win the division and then go from there. With Luck healthy, just the way that they're trying, some of the things they're trying to do with Frank, and they're allowing Frank Gore to run the ball. And people, we got to watch the film to see how good he is. Frank Gore is earning every yard he gets, and he's playing well right now. And I think they're doing a little bit more, which is taking some pressure off of Luck.
Yes,
and it's also allowing him to get some easier coverage outside to throw the ball. So I think down the stretch that could help. So I think it could be the right time for them.
Okay, and before I let you go, what'd you make of the whole Cam Ty thing with Ron Rivera and the Ty
Don't
business?
bitch my quarterback. Find him. I know that it was a tip ball and you got an interception in that situation. I get it. Of course, Cam, you have to, if you're the head coach and you say these rules apply, I don't know how many times he had broken a rule. Because number one, and I've heard guys say, well, what if your backup tackle wants to do it? Well, he can't, because he's not my starting quarterback, and he's not a Pro Bowler, and he's not an All-Pro. You can't do what that guy does. That's number one. If you want to do what he does, if you want to break the rules and get away with it, if I allow you to, because now it's on me. Once you break the rule, you put it in my hands. If I want to be easy on you, you start playing like a Pro Bowler, and then I'll think about it. But when you're backup, no. You end up like Jeff Fisher did, the guy who snuck the girl in his room. If Aaron Donald sneaks a girl in his room, Aaron Donald doesn't get cut. You, as the backup, you get cut. There are different sets of rules. Now, Coach, I understand that you want to keep everybody on the same playing field, and you say, don't break this rule. Don't bench my quarterback, though, because you're not hurting him. You're hurting me.
So do you think that was the response by some of the players on the team? Because the whole concept is that this was done to send a message to the players on the team that nobody is above the team and its rules. But you're saying that the rest of the team might have been sitting there saying, why are you doing this?
I'm saying
Sunday Night Football.
I'm saying that I would have, and in seeing that I would feel that way, I think there has to be at least one other person around there that is saying, don't fine him. You can fine him as much as you want. Take his whole check if you want to. Make him play for free. But and again, I know that it was a tip ball, but would he have made that decision? Would he have thrown the ball somewhere else? Would he have run with it? Would you have called that play? There are so many different things that could have happened in that situation. Don't cost me. That changed the game right there. So don't cost me a game, Coach.
And when you're talking about sneaking the girl in on Jeff Fisher, you're talking about the actual situation that was played out on Hard Knocks, not figuratively referring to a contract extension that we all just found out about this past week. Is what you're
saying. I see what you did there. I'm going to leave that one alone.
You should leave. Good to see you. Always good to see you.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.